Greetings once again, fellow armchair Imagineers. We're smack dab in the middle of a marathon retrospective of Season 8, so let's jump right into Part 2, The Passion of the Disneyson. Now, I think passion is a very appropriate word to apply when it comes to Disneyson. Out of all of the people throughout the history of the game that have played, very few of them have been as passionate about the level of detail and the level of professionalism that goes into their projects as we saw from Disneyson. He was a real class act in both the seasons he played. And like I said, from the moment that he basically, from his first post onward, he was pretty much destined to be an all-star. So, yeah, I had him targeted right off the bat because I was playing the aggressive Russell Hand strategy game. So, covering this season in the form of a historical retrospective is really pretty interesting when you consider that I'm really looking at this season more from a player point of view than from a producer point of view at this point, because obviously I am now a player and Man-Eating Wreath is the quote-unquote producer. Garrett, one of these days, I swear we have to get you on a Skype because I really want to do a retrospective with you or something with you, so, make it happen, buddy. So after all the crazy drama that resulted in the dropouts during Project 1, we came up with two teams, and look, I've got them all written down right now. Professionalism, ha ha ha, just bask in the professionalism. Oops, yeah, I don't notice that. Yeah, I don't notice that one small mistake right there. Ha ha ha. Look, it's a monkey. Everything's better with monkeys. But I digress. On Team All-Stars, we had Tiki, myself, OSU Phantom, aka Stitch, aka Phantasmic from Season 6, part of the Yen Sid 3, big Disney fan, part of the imposing Team Ansem from the same season. ADV Blue Dude, aka the best player to never win, and he'd surely get that title after this season. Jessiestudio, our resident sort of underdog hero power player in the Rising. TrevorA, who I go on to have a strong and tight alliance with. And everyone's favorite Monkey, who go on to really define his style this season. Then on the opposing wildcard side, we had Disneyson, Hack, who is just the definition of a wildcard, and no Hack, you will never be an all-star ever, 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 ever. Stratofurious and Imagineer 2017, who I'll talk about more in the third part of this video. They were definitely a pair to remember, and I really sincerely wish they were involved in the community more. It's kind of sad that they've fallen out of it. Disney Rules, who is kind of like a world-style character in that he's kind of famous for going a little bit further than he should have. Disneyland DHI, who at this point was just on the cusp of being an all-star. And Costa Freak, who by all intents and purposes really should have been an all-star, but we kind of had to squeeze in there with the wildcards just for good measure. So, yeah, that was the lineup. Project 2, Haunted Mansion Holiday. This is one of my personal favorites. I'm not going to go into too much detail regarding the creative projects, because you can see them all on the new So You Want to Be an Imagineer archives, which I'm very happy to announce, although I probably shouldn't have announced it literally right smack in the middle of the Season 8 retrospective, but whatever, I'll announce it when I post all three of these videos on the forum anyways. So, the Imagineering art, the So You Want to Be an Imagineer archives. Yeah, basically every single project from Season 8 onwards will be going on this blog in an easy-to-read, comprehensive format, including judges' comments, including controversial posts here and there that I'm going to pick out. Anything that's really long and historically significant, I'm definitely going to consider putting in the blog. Basically, it's just going to be a time capsule. I know Vision's Fantastic just went through some server issues. Again, I really thank Neo for all his hard work and all his dedication and getting the site back up and running. And honestly, I can't imagine that all those backlogged threads of So You Want to Be an Imagineer are helping things any. So, yeah, just in case they decide they want to clear up some space, which I would not blame them one iota if they wanted to do, I'm definitely going to put all that stuff, all the projects, onto a blog. I have the first 4 projects, which is what the first 2 videos of this retrospective are covering, up right now. I'll have the rest of Season 8 up sometime early next week, and we'll just go from there. And I hope that by the time Season 11 starts, we'll have all the projects up from Season 10 on the blog. So, yeah, moving right along. Haunted Mansion Holiday. Like I said, not really gonna spend too much time on it. I really like the fact that both of the teams took a very different approach. The wildcard team really kind of took a cue from the Nightmare Before Christmas video game, and they did it themed to Oogie Boogie's Revenge. Team All-Stars went in a bit of a different direction. We just kind of made it more of an ensemble piece. The main goal of the project was to have different characters from Nightmare Before Christmas splattered in the Haunted Mansion Holiday, and not just Jack and Oogie. I feel like both teams did a very good job of that. So, at the end of the project, Hack 2 and 1-2 ended up having to drop out because of apparently some identity theft issues. Hack, I really hope that didn't set you back too much, and I'm really glad you were able to recover from that. But for now, he ended up in 14th place. The next project was to design a specific attraction-based treat for Disney parks. I don't know if it had to be attraction-based or not. I feel like dining projects always tend to lead towards interesting results because you really don't have to put a lot of effort into the logistics. So it's all about making it as crazy and outside the box as you can. Sometimes we definitely go a little overboard. I think in the case of Team All-Stars project here, our treat was a good idea. We had what was called the Matterhorn Avalanche. What that was it was sort of a graham cracker Matterhorn. Oh god, what it had, like, it was like a big s'mores thing. It had like chocolate and graham cracker and marshmallows in it, and it was overflowing with chocolate syrup, and at the center it had like 2 scoops of ice cream. So it was basically an ice cream s'mores type thing, and the gimmick was that it was shaped like the Matterhorn. But this project, I just went back and read it a couple days ago. It is way over elaborate. Like, it is just way overdone. And I can tell that right now. I mean, it's funny how my 17-year-old self used to think that adding a totally elaborate and overcomplicated backstory to everything would automatically make it better. Yeah, this is a case where just go back and read the project. The backstory is way overcomplicated. And I was like all proud of the fact that, like, oh yeah, you know, here's 2 original marketable characters to add to the Disney Park lineup. No, it just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work this way. You know, it's like Figment, these 2 characters were not. Let's just put it that way. So, after that project, we come to the animatronics project. This is where I stirred up a little bit of controversy, because I really wanted to do an homage to the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, and yeah, really, I wanted to do a really obscure thing, which was to put an animatronic into the family fun center they have at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk called Neptune's Kingdom. I wanted to do a full-blown animatronics show with that. And yeah, the rest of my team wasn't really down for that. I was really the only one who was kind of pushing it. I was really being sort of just like my way or the highway about it. I was just like, look, we're doing this, you know. And that's one of the things about being a team leader that I definitely regret, and that I definitely do differently if I were to ever play again. Because, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's very intensely personal to me, but just not a lot of people are actually going to get it. So, at the end of the day, yeah, this is where we run into the big controversies. We end up getting the lower score, and I end up throwing a little tizzy fit over it. Like, I'm a really sore loser about it. This turns out to be a little mild debate between myself and King Mickey. Yeah, not one of my proud moments. I think you guys as a whole handle criticism like champs. I'd probably handle criticism the worst out of anyone who's ever played, to tell you the truth. So, but the real thing going on behind the scenes in this project was the Staflos Power. Is that how you pronounce it? Staflos? Staflos. I'm going to go with Staflos. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. This was a pretty big power. It was the power to basically replace anyone on the nomination block with any one of your choosing from either team. And keep in mind, this was one of the seasons where, in creating it, Man-Eating Wreath had a very sort of Big Brother influence behind it. He had just gotten done watching Big Brother 11 with Jeff and Jordan and Jesse and Chima and Russell and Kevin and Natalie and all those good people. Yeah, very controversial, heated season with lots of twists and whatnot. Man-Eating Wreath wanted to make this season as gimmicky and twist-filled and controversial as possible, so he basically gave the team leaders all the power. They'd only nominate one person, and if their team lost, that one person would automatically go home. At least that's pretty sure how I remember it. Me and Man-Eating Wreath have kind of had a debate in our heads whether or not it was one or two people. I personally think it was only one person they would nominate. That's why the Staflos Power was so devastating, was because you could replace anyone with anyone and have them go immediately. The only catch to the power was that the team leader or the assistant team leader could not get the Staflos Power. Assistant team leaders were something that was only done in Season 8. I thought it was a good idea, but it just wasn't something that stuck around. My assistant team leader was TrevorA, and what an assistant he was. This was the first person I went to with an alliance. This was the person I strategized hardcore with. Yeah, I came up with my whole plan on eliminating Disneyson with TrevorA. Yeah. So our plan was, because neither of us could get the Staflos Power because we were the team leaders, we'd rope a third person into our alliance. And the way I saw the teams breaking down at this point was OSU Phantom and Big Disney Fan were kind of on... Well, OSU Phantom was actually... Was he eliminated at that point? No, he wasn't. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert, OSU Phantom gets eliminated soon. But OSU Phantom and Big Disney Fan were on the outs because they really weren't that active. And then there was TrevorA... there was Monkey, Jessiestudio, and Adventure Blue Dude. Adventure Blue Dude and Monkey had a prior relationship working on the Fans Tribe together back in Season 7. So I singled out Jesse, who was on the Favorites Tribe in Season 7, just because of the logic that Adventure Blue Dude and Monkey might be working together. Jesse jumped right in. We became a power trio. And yeah, we basically ran the table at this point. Now, I'll get way more into my overall strategies in Part 3, but yeah. At the end of the... at the end of the fourth project, Jesse went ahead, he obtained the power, and he went ahead and used it. He switched out OSU Phantom, who was going to be eliminated, and probably rightfully should have been eliminated, with Disneyson. That was it. Disneyson was gone. Bam. Yeah, sent shockwaves, needless to say. King Mickey was pissed. I was honestly trying to cover up the fact that I was behind it. I was kind of applauding Jesse for his bold move. I was arguing with the judges, well, if you didn't want something like this to happen, why would you introduce a power so powerful to begin with? I still kind of argue that point. But yeah, that threw things for a total loop. So the next time on this retrospective, I'm not really going to go into so much detail about the projects themselves. We had about 1 million different team swaps. I'm not going to get into the individual teams that we saw after the team swap from the original All-Stars and Wildcards. But what I will get into is my major strategy, the major moments, Disney rules, all that good stuff. So yeah, in the end, Disneyson ends up getting eliminated shockingly, way early in 13th place. Submits his status as an all-star, definitely. But yeah, it was a big moment. So, oh god, I'm going to have a lot to talk about in the last part of this video. It's going to be extra long, so sit tight. We're just getting to the good stuff.
It's a monkey!